You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/builtforus to get started.
School is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year. We've got everything from cleats to Sambas, Dunks, and more. Plus, the hottest looks from Nike, Jordan, and Adidas. Find your first day fits in-store or online at Dicks.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Got a clean face tonight. My man's good to go, right?
Dude,
and look at this, Emilio. Look at this.
I was just about to go off on this kid, and he just strolls in late again. Later than, you know what, Jacob? What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah,
the live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Let it rip, Tater Chip.
No, I'm good. Nice to see you guys.
There you go. All right.
Cat got his tongue.
Something like that. All right. Well, we're off to a roaring start here. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors tonight. We got Carly Ray joining us now. We got a packed house this evening. How you doing, Miss Carly?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We're just I'm in here trying to keep Emilio and Jacob separated, just the norm. So
playing the media.
That's it, man. Just trying to be the peacemaker, like always. But I want to kick the show off this way if we can. As soon as we got off the air last night, the news dropped. We've been talking about Josh Myers, obviously, and him missing time for personal reasons. Well, Easton Butler had sent a tweet out, our good buddy Easton, who's done an excellent job kind of covering the Packers on his own there in Green Bay. He tweeted this out and said, rest easy to Josh Myers' father, Brad Myers. His passing was announced yesterday through the University of Kentucky's football Instagram. So obviously Brad Myers was a letterman from 84 to 87 for the Kentucky Wildcat football team. And it sounds like he got the UK Unsung Hero Award. So obviously got to be tough on Josh. You could tell you don't have to look too far to tell where he got his love for the game of football at, right? Watching his father play. So I just, listen, we're always critical of players when they're not playing well. We've been very vocal about that. I've got a saying on this show, if you see it, you got to say it. It doesn't mean you root against players. It doesn't mean you're, hey, get them out of here. We need to make a change. If anything, I think, like Jacob pointed out, I believe it was last night when we got off the air, this team is just full of players who have had to deal with this specific tragedy. I mean, you got Jaden Reed. There's a number of different players, isn't there, Jacob, where they've each lost their father. Obviously, Jordan Love at a very early age. I'm rooting for Josh Myers, boys. I just became the biggest Josh Myers fan. I hope he comes out this year and just absolutely lives up to the second round hype. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like we talked about, we see these guys as just kind of like, I don't know, football players that have no other life than football, and they just need to come in and they need to perform and they need to do this right and block this way right. Like, we forget that they're human beings and that they're going through, obviously in Josh's case, like probably one of the worst things you can go through.
Yeah.
And then you got to try to shake it off and come back and worry about making a roster spot. And, well, he doesn't necessarily, but making that next contract for sure. Right. So like you said, Clayton, I hope that he comes back and just absolutely kills it, because we say this all the time. He's one of only 2 centers in the league that have the profile and the athleticism that he does. So he's got all the physical tools he needs. So I hope that he can, deal with this as best as he can and move on and hopefully continue his career. So.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to another. And again, just thoughts and prayers go out to the Myers family. Absolutely horrible thing to have to deal with there. That dude looks like a hoss too, did he not? Don't even think he'd clean somebody's clock. I bet he was a hell of a ball player for the Wildcats. Yeah. Obviously, I don't remember much of this. I was, 2 years old when he started playing in Kentucky. So I'd love to tell you guys I was watching football back then. I just don't remember. So I probably was on the back of a Harley, but that's a story for a different show. All right. But let's move along to another offensive lineman, and that's Jordan Morgan. I'm sure you guys seen the information come down the pike earlier today as Matt LaFleur met with the media and said first-round pick Jordan Morgan sustained a shoulder injury in yesterday's practice. It's, quote, nothing long-term per LaFleur, but will keep him out a week or so. Means he won't play in Saturday's preseason opener, but at this point, week 1 isn't in jeopardy. Rob Demovsky also went on to say, as for Quay Walker, who also dropped out yesterday, LaFleur said there's no concern there. Also, he didn't specify an injury. So what's your all's thoughts on Jordan Morgan, man? That interior offensive line just got real interesting, didn't it?
Yeah. Did you listen, Jacob, to Sean Ryan's interview before you hopped in?
I don't think I got to it yet.
He was talking about how he just wants to be the best right guard he can be. This is his opportunity, right? I think Jordan Morgan had a good shot there. But again, it's still that first preseason game. It's just going to be getting a lot of reps. If he's starting O-line, would they be taking him out when they take out the starters and Jay Love and all that? Or are we going to just rep him because he's a first-year player, as Vince Lombardi would refer to him as? We don't like the rookie term, so we're going to call him first years. But, I think he's got it. I think he's, like Matt was saying, he's got the athleticism. He's got the talent. He just kind of needs to be shaped. So I think he's more – I'm not worried about it. That's the question.
Got it. Jacob, what do you think about it, man? Guard position here.
Well, respect oranges. While Emilio was just starting to talk about Nacho Libre, he said old Nacho Libre seems excited to prove himself, so that's good. I like that he's confident, but I talked about this a few days ago where I was like, man, all of a sudden I don't feel great about this offensive line, especially if any sort of injuries happen. And Elton Jenkins has been battling stuff. Now we see that obviously Tom's got injury concerns, and then we have the Myers issues going on. A lot of things are – Jaden Reed wasn't practicing. Quay's not practicing. There's a few others where Christian Watson went down pretty hard today. It sounds like he should be all right. But, the injury bug, like we kept knocking on wood and being like, we want to preface this by saying we don't want injuries. And then all of a sudden it seems like it happened gradually, and then suddenly now we're dealing with injuries. As far as what actually happens with Jordan Morgan, I'm not too concerned, but at the same time, I'm super concerned. I'm just going to say that.
I'll tell you this, man. I'm sure glad they didn't cut Sean Ryan like many people were calling. Because whether you like him or not, that dude has the most experience of anybody on this team at right guard. And now, he was the plan, I believe, going into the season was for him to kind of be that swing guard, that guy that can, if somebody gets banged up, you can pop him in at left guard or right guard. And now right off the bat, you're having to put him in at right guard. Now, again, sounds like it's going to be a week or so, probably not that big of a deal. But the reality is, as a rookie wide or a rookie offensive lineman, man, you need those reps. You need those preseason reps bad, right? Now, who knows how long he would have played in that first preseason game. But regardless, it's definitely going to stunt his growth a touch. But I do like the whole attitude of, hey, look, let's see if he can get in there and kind of reclaim that position, right? Because if he rises to the occasion, or as a wise man once said, the cream rises to the top there.
Oh yeah.
If that was a good impersonation. If he does, then that offensive line is going to be even stronger when Jordan Morgan does come back, right? So definitely something worth keeping our eye on there. Carly, you just cut in anytime you want, okay?
Do you guys? I saw an article that was they weren't necessarily talking trash.
Jacob, I don't think your name's Carly Ray.
Dang, boy. Got Chippy in here. I like it.
Oh, we're gonna give him.
Okay. No, go ahead. I surrender.
Go ahead, Jacob. You done ruined the show. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she was there. She's dropped out and in on. She dives in and out more than come on. Never mind. I was gonna say. Do you think – I saw an article that was like, hey, do you think the Packers made a mistake letting John Runyon Jr. leave? And at first I was like, no. And then I thought, oh, God, probably. Like, I would love to – I'd love to have John Runyon Jr. at right guard again, to be honest.
For $30 million?
Yeah,
not $30 million. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is did we? I don't know if we actually tried to did we just say, did we cut the ties with him? Did we do what the Goody kind of what he's been known for? Once they decide that we don't want you, offer him like, we'll give you 2.5 a year, and they're like, well, I can get 30 mil over here, and they're like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was any sort of like actual negotiations there, but to me right now, I would love if we had John Runyon Jr. somewhere on the depth chart.
Yeah, for me, I think I've got to disagree. And again, he was going to test the market. There's no doubt about that. His cap hit this year is 6.5. Next year's 11.7, then 11.7. Now they can get out from under that third year pretty easy. If you're asking me, if you knew in advance this was going to happen, would you like John Runyon at 6.5 this year? I'd say heck no. That's just me personally. I would rather try one of these younger players that they've drafted. Go that route. I'd rather see Jacob Monk in there cut his teeth than John Runyon at 6'5". Listen, John Runyon was cheeks last year. There's no two ways about it. There's people that are bad-mouthing Sean Ryan like he's a horrible football player. Now, Brian Bulaga thinks he's good. Brian Bulaga was talking about on Wildy and Tausch like, hey, this dude, watching the tape, he played a lot better down the stretch last year. That's the reason they started to do the rotation of John Runyon and Sean Ryan. But John Runyon it got bad. It got really bad.
Jacob, don't you remember he was facing Jordan Love on like at least 5 pass plays? Like straight up looking at him like, wow, what a throw.
Yeah, but he did so good for like half his career.
Right. That was 2 years ago, right? He did. You're right, Jacob. He played really well first couple years in the league. I don't know what happened, man. I really don't. I remember blaming Stenovich, or not Stenovich, but Butkus. Because I'm like, Steno had him playing great. And Steno takes over as OC. Butkus takes over as offensive line coach. And all of a sudden, John Runyon's facing the wrong direction. What the hell's going on out here? You know what I mean? So,
anyway. But Ryan is ready, man. He was talking about how he knows the offense even better now because, one, he's playing left guard too, but two, he's got to be at center. He's making calls. He's got to call who's blocking, who's the mic, who's backing off when we do motion. He's like, you've seen our offense. They're crazy back there. They run all over the place. So I got to, keep my head on straight. I think that'll help him mentally. If he's at right guard, knows what's going on. And if Tom's not in there, we're rotating in different tackles. He could help him out. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Carla, you got anything?
Oh, I was just going to say, I like what, let's see, too old for this, I think it was, said that Christian Watson can block. We could try him at right guard.
There you go. He can block. A wise man once said that. We got a little bit of something. Did you guys hear that in her audio, or was it just me? Okay. You got a little bit of something, Carl, that kind of sounds like robotic. Might want to try your Bluetooth on and off again, maybe. But
she kind of sounds like RFK.
She really did. That's no BS. It did kind of sound like RFK. All right. Anyway, we'll let Carly get that straightened out. And again, Carly, you just jump in and out of the conversation as you seem fit. You've got full reign here, okay? You just cut everybody off if you got anything to add. Injury updates outside of Jordan Morgan. Andy Herman tweeted us out. Return today was Kingsley Enagbare. We'll talk about him in a second. Released injured was Callis and Stanley both got cut, all right? New injury was Jaden Reed with a calf injury. I don't think it's anything too serious. It doesn't sound like it anyway. And then still out is Starkey with the calf, Valentine with a hamstring, Deslin Alexander with a leg injury, Keyshawn Banks with the groin, Edgerrin Cooper with the hip, and Jennings with the knee. All right, so that is the latest on the injury front going into today's practice. And right off the bat from Wes Hocklitz, Enagbare comes free on play action and blows up a rollout for Sims. We talked about Enagbare a lot last year. He played a pretty vital role in the Packers season. There was one game in particular. Was it the Chargers? Am I thinking right? The Chargers game where he got the strip sack late in the game that kind of pretty much, I don't want to say won the game, but essentially sealed it. I think it was the Chargers game that he did that. He stripped Herbert. But I think he's one of the unsung heroes of the defense. So I think Enagbare being healthy. Now, listen, that's a position group that we can afford to lose someone at from time to time. Obviously, we got a lot of depth there. But I think Kingsley Enagbare, this team is a lot better with him healthy. So, all right. Caleb Jones getting number 1 snaps today at right tackle behind Tom's 3 in a row. All right, so Caleb Jones getting number 1 snaps, I think, is huge at right tackle. When you talk about all of the there you go, Dennis Shook says Inibare drinking a working man's Gatorade. Y'all got me craving Gatorade all of a sudden, man. But when it comes to Caleb Jones at right tackle, to me, would it not be absolutely awesome if he just stepped his game up and kind of took the reins as that swing tackle? You know what I'm saying? That would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Well, we need someone that we can count on. So I think
Yeah.
that's what Matt's waiting for, is someone to step up and, plant the flag.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Jacob? You think Caleb Jones can do it or not?
I do. It's been odd that he hasn't really put it all together. I feel like he's been around, what is it now, 2-3 years? And we've kind of just been holding him. Another guy, Yash. Why did we let Yash go? I wish we would have just paid that man a little bit of money, maybe. I'm not trying to be like,
I love it.
Looking back and crying today. I'm just sitting here kind of like we had a really decent offensive line, and I started thinking in the last couple of weeks, like all of a sudden, man, I don't feel so confident about this offensive line, especially if there's any injuries. And now I'm sitting here like, oh, yep. I don't know. We need a lot of guys to step up pretty big, and a lot of guys to just completely shake off a lot of the main problems they've had in their career. And I hope it works. Don't get me wrong.
But Jacob, wouldn't you want more of these snaps to go to these up and coming guys that, maybe they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to have a chance to get better, rather than guys on the other side of the hill of their careers?
Yeah, but we don't really have, like Caleb Jones, again, is around the same amount of time we had Yash. I do like Kadeem Telfer and Luke Tenuta, but they're both, Tenuta's coming off a pretty big injury, and then Donovan Jennings is injured as well, and Travis Glover doesn't seem to be quite making a mold, and Dillard doesn't seem like he knows where he is or what he's doing. So now we seemed like we had one of those things where you didn't have maybe 2 or 3 great backups at all in the rotation, but you had like 5 or 6 guys that maybe could produce. And now I'm thinking like, we don't have anybody. But
yeah.
It's true, but Yash did lose the battle, remember, Jacob, to our man Walker over there.
That's true.
He didn't just lose the battle. Stinovich called him out in the media. Do y'all remember that? Like,
I do.
Steno called him out. Right. He was like, he basically said, it was a competition, and Yash didn't rise to the occasion. That's what he said. It's like, whoa, what happened there, man? But Yash, as far as his contract, it was way more palatable than John Runyon's. He got a 2-year deal for $8 million. So the cap hit this year is $2.9 million. The cap hit next year is $5 million. And as far as the guarantees go, I think there was only $5 million guarantees. So essentially, the Panthers could cut him next year and have a dead cap of only $1.4 million, freeing up $3.5 million of the $5 million. So I would have been okay with that contract, Jacob. But again, it sounded like Stinovich did not trust him. It sounded like Steno and him really soured on each other. So, and I'll tell you this too, Yash and Aaron Rodgers were pretty close. So it kind of feels like it's some more of that, like get those Rodgers guys out of the building type thing. I could be wrong there, but yeah. All right. Is that real? Dennis Shook says Jacob sounds like Yash might not make the cut in Jacksonville. That'd be wild, wouldn't it, if they lost all that money? I say all that money. It's not horrible. This year, they'd be on the hook for $3.9 million. So they rented him for camp, essentially, right? Prince. Yash's best move was doing the robot after touchdowns. He had a mean robot. I don't know if you boys know that. Oh, man, he could dance. No doubt about it.
Do you remember, what is it, The Longest Yard, where Terry Crews starts doing the robot or something? He said, it's a big-ass robot.
Terry Crews is awesome. Let's go to the chat. M. Smitty said earlier, have to say, would love to play poker against Emilio and Jacob. Their faces always give away. They glance at us degenerates in the chat. You guys should try producing a damn show and hosting it.
There have been some good shots tonight, though. You've missed out on some, Clayton, that we couldn't put up there.
What you guys and gals don't know is as soon as the show's over, we go back through the chat and Emilio and Jacob, look at this one, look at this one, look at this every single time.
It's true.
Am I being honest?
Yeah. 100%.
It's true. They totally do.
Well, because he misses some of the heat of the jokes, and we got to re-explain it to him because he's over here producing the show. So we just got to keep an eye on it for him.
I'm over here running a tight ship, and you guys are just giggling the whole time, like you're watching Comedy Central or something. Which I got to say, man, some of the people in the chat on a regular basis should apply at Comedy Central. Kristen in the chat said, does the partially torn ACL make Enigbare susceptible to an easy tear? Chris, I'm right there with you. Like, how in the world can a partial tear of an ACL not be at a greater risk than one that's not torn? The doctors have told him, no, your knee is no different than anyone else's, is what they're saying. So I don't know if it's somehow healed or what, but I believe it was a conversation between Brian Bulaga and I think it was Brian Bulaga and maybe Homer on the Homer Hour. They were talking about it, and they essentially said no. And he's having a hard time trusting them too.
Yeah,
with it. And Emilio, you tore an ACL. That's the big thing, right? It's like even if you get it completely repaired, if you snap it in half, you get it completely replaced, repaired, whatever you want to call it. The next year, you still have trouble trusting it, don't you?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with Multiview, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action, make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
I wanted the brace on for like 2 years after, and I didn't need it, right? You're thinking about it too much. I think that's going to be his biggest hurdle, is just trusting that the strength's there. But they were saying they're building up his quads, his hammies, his calves, just trying to hold all that strength around the knee. If they didn't have to take the patella tendon, he still got all that range perfectly fine. As long as his meniscus didn't get like a C tear or partial tear, and it was just like a clean kind of half ACL tear, heal it up and go back for it. I mean, that's what either way he was going to heal if he had the surgery or not. But I think the biggest gap right now is his mental, just thinking that it's not going to, buckle on him. I would still think he might wear a brace just to be safe. You never know if someone rolls up on him sideways or something like that. But I think that he just got to get past that mental hurdle.
Got it. All right. If you guys and gals would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. We got a bunch of people in here. Hit that like, it'll boost the algorithm, help other Packer fans find the channel. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Jacob, I'm going to give you the floor on this one, sir. Look at this. Wes Heikowitz, Brenton Cox Jr. shot out of a cannon, ends team period by tackling Howard for a several-yard loss on a pitch right. So your boy Brenton Cox Jr. coming out doing some impressive stuff today, Jacob. Think he's going to make the roster again?
I do. And that's not even – you picked the least explosive description of Cox, because there was one that said that he was actually on like back-to-back plays, that Cox was shot out of a cannon. He was exploding all over the defense. And, like he says right here, respect to him, just maximum penetration, maximum effort.
Just the tip, though.
Yeah.
can't.
Jacob, I love how I literally show a highlight tweet from Brenton Cox Jr. and it still wasn't enough. You showed the less impressive one. Dude, I'm buying you a jersey this year.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. That'd be great.
Look at that. Coach Lynn said he was playing on the interior too. Is that true? I can't tell if everybody – this is like Chuck Norris now. Everybody's just telling jokes. And yeah, he
I don't think Coach would steer us the wrong way. I like that idea.
Coach has never steered us wrong.
Put that jersey up right next to the tattoo.
And it just says Carly Ray is mortified.
So am I, man. So am I. All right. We got a new kicker today, boys. New addition. Alex Hill is kicking today. He goes 3 for 3 between the 33 and 41 and 44. So my man went 3 for 3, at least up to that point in the practice. You know, we talked about how they tried out. What was it they tried out? Was it 3 different kickers? Am I remembering right? Yeah. So evidently they're not sold on either of those guys right now. It doesn't feel like camp legs either. Really doesn't. Here was a cool tweet by Wes Heikwitz. Zach Tom gets pitted against Kenny Clark on 3rd and 9 and holds his ground. Impressive rep to give Love time to find Watson. Zach Tom, I think it was Matt LaFleur that talked about this too. Zach Tom has literally stepped right back in from that injury and not missed a beat, man. That dude, Goody, talk about crushing a draft pick. Oh, my God.
Yeah, should we start paying him now or what?
Well, that's coming up, right? Talk about him for a second. I'm going to see if I can pull up his exact contract details.
I think he is one of the key anchors to that wall we got in front of Jordan Love, and he needs to be signed 100%. Like we said, if Myers could step up and hold his spot, and then we have Walker and then Morgan and Elton. I mean, we're ready to go. But I think that Tom's got the skills for it. We need to pay that man.
Yeah, so he's got one more year left on his deal. He's got this year and next year. So they could go ahead and start negotiating it. I think that's going to be one of those that gets done really early, though, like really, really early, because Goody and this staff, and not just his staff, but just the history of the Green Bay Packers front office, and we know he is an extension of Ted Thompson and everybody before him. They operate a specific way. They love giving out that second contract, man, because that's like, hey, look, here's our prized possession, right? Hold them up for the world to see. Zach Tom's that dude, man. No doubt about it. But hearing him handle Kenny Clark, Jacob, do you worry, okay, is that less on Kenny, more on Zach? Do you think about that type of stuff during camp? I know I do from time to time. I'm going, okay, was that because the defense was good or was that because the offense was bad? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why I've been scratching my head trying to think, is Rashawn Gary that great? Or are tackles that bad?
Right.
Same thing with, like we just said with Kenny. Anytime I hear that, like I look on the Brettel does a great job of, and so does Ryan Wood and a bunch of those guys where they break down like the battles and who won and who lost. And it'll be like, oh, Slayton over blah, 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 Slayton over this, Kenny over this, Kenny over. And I'm like, oh boy, like I'd like to see a little bit more of the offensive line winning in certain battles, but I'm starting. I am starting to get a little bit nervous. I do think the defensive line is ahead of the offensive line. I think the defense in general is ahead of the offense. And everybody always says, well, that should be that way for this this part of the season. I'm still starting to get a little nervous. So I would like to see us maybe I think a lot of things are going to get solved in is it Cleveland? I can't remember if it's Cleveland or Cincinnati. It's Cleveland, right? Browns game is our next preseason game.
Yeah.
There we go.
It is.
Browns.
I think that's going to tell us a lot of all these little things. And there's not a big bunch of red flags on this team, but the ones that are there are definite red flags. So if we could try to get that figured out as quickly as possible, that would be great.
Got it. All right. Devontae Wyatt, Wes Heikwitz tweeted out, Devontae Wyatt just shot through the line to force Love to throw it away deep. So the defensive line continues to just produce. Here you got a tweet, LVN. Lucas Van Ness stunt inside and bats Love's pass at the line of scrimmage. Play before Love connected with Wicks on a 2nd and 11 crosser. So LVN flashing, Devontae Wyatt flashing. It's going to be huge that those guys really show up this year, man. Again, when you're talking about the structure of your team and the blueprint that you're putting together, Emilio, I know you listen to the GM Shuffle a lot, and Michael Lombardi talks about that all the time. Like, how are you modeling your team, right? Like, how are you building your team? And you guys know I'm a big fan of 3-tech, edge defender. Those are the two most important positions on the defense. Outside of that, you got your mock linebacker, and then you got your post safety. That's kind of that's the order of importance in which I label those positions on defense. You're trying to figure out who is going to be your 3-tech after Kenny Clark. I know we just signed Kenny to an extension. He's going to be here for at least 2 years, possibly 3. But you're still looking for that next guy, whether it's Devontae Wyatt now, it's LVN, whoever it may be. Now that you're in a 4-3, LVN is not completely off the table, right? I mean, that's a guy that, like they said, it was a stunt inside here, so they're already using him in the inside somewhat, whether it just be running a little game there to free him up in the A to B gap. But you got to find that 3-tech. The last thing you want to do is get to the last year of Kenny Clark's contract and you don't know who your next 3-tech is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be huge, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pick one. You know, is it Wyatt? Is it Brooks? Is it Wooden? You know, is it TJ Slayton? I mean, does he step up and become elite? You never know. But I think that how Lombardi talks about it, that I think they're building from the D line out on the defense, and then with the offense, it kind of looks like we were building outside in. You know, with having Jordan Love already there, but we rolled into these wide receivers really fast. We're like, all right, now we got to kind of scramble and get our line together, but I'm glad that we have some pieces there.
So Wyatt, again, check this out. Wes Hykowitz, 2 opens with a Wyatt sack, Bullard playing nickel, AJJ and Williams deep. So a lot to unpack there. I want to mention this real quick. One of the later tweets, Devontae Wyatt in the backfield again, and Love has to dirt it. So Devontae Wyatt, to me, I would say was probably the player of practice today. I mean, that dude was just constantly in the backfield all day long. Now, this right here, really exciting. Again, Wyatt with another sack. Javon Bullard playing nickel. Is this the first time? I could be completely wrong. We're, 11 practices in, 12, whatever it is, practices in?
12.
Is this the first time we've heard of Javon Bullard actually playing nickel in teams, or is it just me?
No, we heard it a couple other times, but it's been sparingly and at the with like the 2s and 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember hearing Kalen King. I remember hearing who was the other guy that they had tried. Not Ballantyne. They tried him, right? They were at least talking about him playing the slot before he got hurt. Bullard in the slot, to me, it says 2 things. And we actually got some comments on the YouTube show last night like, man, y'all are giving up on Keyshawn Nixon already, huh? We're not giving up on anybody. But if you see it, you got to say it. The dude's gotten cooked several times in practice already. I mean, he had a full year last year to play slot. It wasn't pretty. You don't believe me? Go watch that huge game against the Giants that put them in the game-winning field goal range. That was Keyshawn Nixon playing press out of the slot, and he gets absolutely cooked. A little inside-out move, dude on a wheel route, it was over, right? Ball game. Mm-hmm. I just want the best players on the field. That's me. So the fact that they're putting Bullard there in the nickel, it tells me that Evan Williams is – having a hell of a camp as well. They're trying to get Evan Williams on the field as much as possible, but Bullard has already got that safety position locked down. If he wins the nickel spot over Keyshawn Nixon and you end up starting Bullard in the slot in the nickel and then Evan Williams at safety, that box safety, that Spurs safety, although it's going to be very interchangeable this year, dude, I'm telling you, Goody might have hit a home run. We actually heard from Evan Williams earlier today. If you guys want, I'll play that real quick. I want you guys to just try to get a feel for Evan Williams and kind of the personality and all that stuff. He's going to talk about the camp battle, and he's also going to talk about kind of studying under Xavier McKinney. Here was Evan Williams in the locker room earlier today after practice.
Yeah, you just got to make the most of your opportunities whenever you get them. It's definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously, in practice, you love to make those type of plays especially against a quarterback of Jordan's caliber. But yeah, I mean, it would definitely mean more if it was in a game, right? So yeah, hopefully you just got to be ready for the opportunities when they show themselves and just try to make the most of them.
What's it been like coming in with Javon? It seems like both of you guys are off to a really strong start in camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great, honestly. Just that competition, I think, has brought out the best in both of us. yeah, I mean, we're going hard every day, knowing that, you know, a spot's on the line, and just trying to show our best stuff every day. And so, yeah, I think we've definitely pushed each other. I think he's definitely pushed me to, you know, just bring my best out every day, you know, go 100%, balls to the wall, and, you know, just, you know, let it hang.
Evan, what's it been like playing and seeing as many snaps you have with Xavier, just kind of the type of safety he is and being able to have that kind of experience?
Yeah, I mean, experience is really the name of the game with him. He's just such a cerebral football player. His processing, just his ability to, you know, notice little things and formations that might give a tell to, you know, where he can make a play or put him in a better position. Yeah, I mean, just honestly, I've just tried to, you know, listen twice as much as I speak and just, you know, kind of see, you know, exactly what makes him tick. And it's just in the little things in his habits every day. You know, he's first one in, last one out type of guy. And so just being able to see his habits, just see what it takes to be a great safety in this league has been a huge help for me.
All right. So obviously, man, I don't know. I love that dude. I love his whole demeanor. Love the fact that, think about what Bullard said too earlier in the in camp. He said, you know, I don't like that word comfortable, right? Remember when he did that whole spiel?
Yep.
He said, I don't like that word because once you get comfortable, you lose your job. And I don't even have a job yet. And here you hear, I think that whole comment, as I'm hearing Evan Williams talk, I'm going, that's what Bullard's talking about. He's looking across that safety room going, this kid Evan Williams, a dog.
Yeah.
Love his attitude. Love that he's studying. And you can tell he's trying to pick up on the little nuances under Xavier McKinney as well, man. Pretty cool.
Did you hear it too? I didn't catch it. Maybe I was drifting off. I got the ADD. But when he was talking about McKinney, one of the quotes he said, he just has these like really off the cuff one-liners that just makes me realize, dang, this dude, he understands it for being how young he is. He is really well spoken. He said something to the point of, when I'm around Xavier, I listen twice as much as I speak. And I was like, wow, that's really like prescient for a kid his age, understanding the situation, understanding, you know, like every single kid, I think that it's a rule of life that at some point some older person tells you, hey, you're going to want to do this differently because I'm telling you, once you're my age, you're going to regret. And everybody goes, you old timer. And then sure as heck, I swear I've had like 16 moments in the last year where I'm like,
yep.
Oh my God, they were right.
The old saying, Jacob, God gave you one mouth and two ears for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's true, man. I'm telling you, the older you get, now we're on here telling papaw stories, but the older you get, man, I'm just telling you, you're going to look back and go, damn, I wish I'd listened. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. You wait. Anyway, let's hit this real quick. So Wes Hodkiewicz said earlier, you know, the two opens with a Wyatt sack, Bullard playing nickel, AJJ and Williams deep. Then he said Bullard back at safety with the one. So I just wanted to mention that because it sounds like they are rotating him. He's the starting safety alongside Xavier McKinney, but then sometimes when they go to the nickel, he will slide down, play the slot, and Evan Williams will take over. So obviously AJJ getting a good healthy rotation there as well. Let's jump ahead here to this play. Wes Hodkiewicz says McKinney interception over the middle on love pass intended for Musgrave. Came out of nowhere again. Xavier McKinney's looking like the real deal. No surprise there, right? We all kind of expected it coming into this year with the tape that he's put together. He's been as one of the more consistent safeties in the entire league for sure. So I throw all that together to kind of build up to this 1 minute drill here. So here was the 1 minute drill. Andy Herman pointed out the ones up next, same situation. So it was like 1 minute. I think there was 1 minute left and one timeout, maybe something like that. But it says Love to Musgrave, complete for 9 and out of bounds. Love to Wicks over the middle for a nice gain. First down, clock ticks. Beautiful throw and catch from Love to Wicks downfield and out of bounds. 1st and 10 in defense territory around the 20. 50 seconds left. They still have the timeout. Love to Watson, back of the end zone, but Evan Williams out jumps him. Guys, listen to me.
Whoa.
Jordan Love to Christian Watson, back of the end zone, but Evan Williams out jumps him for it for a game-ending pick. Huge play for Williams, bad decision for Love. So I read that and I was like, Yeah, this sounds like Evan. It sounds like the right move is Bull is your starting safety in the base. 75% of the time, you're going to be a nickel. Get Evan Williams on the damn field, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid completely, Bulls, on Evan Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we saw him play at Oregon, and he said that in his interview, he said that he has had a defensive coach that's a safety or a safeties coach or a D-back coach in college. He had him at Fresno State, and he said that he schemed him up a lot for being in the right position, being able to play fast and smooth. And he said that Hafley's doing the same thing with him here. So if he feels comfortable in it, he's going to play even better. And I think it's kind of showing out. But I think you're right. If we can get Bullard into the nickel, that'd be ideal. I don't think it's going to happen off the start, but I would be totally fine with walking him down there if Keyshawn's not making the cut.
Yeah. AFAM here in the chat says we need a nickname for Evan Williams. First thing that comes to mind for me is E-Dub,
Yeah, Carly's got a good one, though.
That's actually his nickname.
Evan Killams?
What's that?
Carly Ray's got a good one.
Evan Killams. I like it. Hey, that's pretty strong. I just Googled it just to make sure. AI just pulled and says, Evan James Williams, Green Bay Packers player. His nickname is E-Dub. I can't believe I just guessed that. But I do like Killams better, though.
Can't believe it's so rare.
Evan Killams. Hey, he can have 2 nicknames on the show, all right? I don't know, man. Again, I'm trying not to get overhyped about the dude. But when we watched the tape immediately following the draft choice, the thing we noticed was the tackling ability, the pass rush. Just him, he's a sticky tackler. He goes after the ball. He forced fumbles against Caleb Williams against USC there. And then what was the big question I asked live on the stream? Yeah, but what's he doing pass defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been his strong point throughout the entire camp.
Right. They haven't even been able to hit yet. The one time he gets a little shot at, he takes a shoulder out of Christian Watson.
Yeah. I mean, these two might end up being so good that they do just go to that big nickel set,
3 safeties across the top.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think we're going to – come on now, Amelia. Got to get you canceled over here, sir. Yeah, that's I'm not drunk enough to taste that chicken just yet.
Yeah.
As Ricky Bobby would say. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It just seems like Goody went out there and just started swinging for we still have not seen Katano Ladapo. Think about that.
Yeah, and AFAM's over here just throwing some disrespect on his name. Do we really need to draft Oladapo?
How dare you? How dare you?
Twice.
Jacob had it on loop, didn't he?
I had it on loop.
I was going to say, I was hoping for a third time. Really send it home.
I love it. Ola Home Depot, man. I miss the Home Depot music.
I know.
Man, I'll tell you, we when I think back on it, we were pissed at YouTube, right? But when I think back on it, we were firing all kinds of stuff. We were joking about it. We said we're either going to get sponsored by Home Depot or our YouTube channel is going to get cut off. Our YouTube channel got cut off.
Might need to bring it back.
So, anyway, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? All right, so some injury news here. Heath, we had a little scare. Wes Hockovich tweeted out, Malik Heath down after last Emmanuel Wilson run to the right, and then he came back and said, Heath is back, just got a pass in team drills. So nothing wrong with Malik Heath. Sounds like he's completely healthy, okay? Another injury that popped up was Christian Watson, okay? It says Williams with the pick in the end zone in the 2-minute to end practice. We just talked about that, right? Said with Watson, who is still down as practice ends. And then he quote tweeted that, Bill Huber did, and said Watson is up now. He's talking to some teammates as players head up to the locker room. I've actually got a video. When you see that stuff, is he hurt or not? Like, what the heck's going on here, right? I think I've actually got a video here. This was Christian Watson walking off the field. To me, he looks just fine. I'll let you guys be the judge here. I think he gives a little double thumbs up here. I think they said it was a bruise is what it was. So someone kneed him in the side of the leg and it was just a bruise. So
yeah.
Nothing to worry about.
Worse in the moment. He said it hurt worse in the moment than it does in the or when he was at his locker, I guess.
Yeah. One of those Charlie horses. You've gotten those time or 12.
Stingers?
Right?
Ooh, those stingers suck, man.
So, all right. So nothing to worry about, Jacob. We good? What are you laughing? Christian Watson got banged up today. You insensitive bastard. What are you laughing about over there?
Nothing. I'm good. Watson's great. Everything will be fine.
All right, there you go. You heard it. You heard it from a fan.
We need that. We just need that drop.
We got to get it. We got to have it for sure. Okay, I see now. I can't do a show with you guys. Let's see here. This was interesting. Dennis Shook said, can we bring back Bach? I mean, legally, since we just parted ways. I don't think there's anything there that says we can't bring him back, legally. Was there some kind of injury settlement, or is that still in litigation? Does anybody have any information on that at all? I'll see if I can comb around here for a minute. Let's say that you can bring him back. At what price would you be okay with bringing Bach back if he's healthy?
Anything he wants.
Really? I was going to say, what's a swing tackle price nowadays in the NFL?
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be happy with it.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Where are we going to put him? We can't even pick a 53 and be happy with it. Where are we going to wedge him onto the roster?
Well, we could just take Dillard out the situation and swap him with Bach.
I thought we did that. I thought we did that last time with the 9 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I'm just looking around here real quick, summary and everything. It doesn't say anything about an injury settlement at this point. So I don't think, to answer your question, whoever that was, who was it in the chat that asked that? Do you guys remember? Dennis Shook.
Dennis Shook.
Yeah. Dennis, I don't think there's anything preventing us from bringing him back, but I think, like we're all talking about here, man, when it comes to the numbers, it's how much are you willing to pay? And I bet if you went to Goody and said, hey, Goody, if Bach will play for $5 million, would you sign him? He'd probably say, hell yeah, right? But I don't think Bach's going to want to come back for pennies on the dollar. You know what I mean? So Smitty says, I bring Bach back for any price just to see him flip off the Bears fans again. One of my favorite Packers moments for sure.
That is great.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Coach Lynn said, I heard Williams had another great day. Yes, sir, he did. Just got through talking about that. Chris Ian says, I gave up on Nixon by week 6 last year. Again, there's some people that love him, Chris. Again, we signed him to, what was it, like $6 million per year on average or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't a kick returner, they're not giving him over $2 million. No. I think we would all agree, right? So all that value is there as a kick returner. I agree with you, Chris. I wasn't impressed with Nixon. Now, don't get me wrong. I hit my head on the ceiling fan jumping up off the couch when he picked off Mahomes at Lambeau, right? I'm not rooting against the guy, obviously, but if Bullard can play a notch ahead of him, if Bullard can come out and play slot and play it at a 70 to 75 level PFF grade and actually make a difference, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Huge improvement.
I mean, this is probably his last shot here, right? I mean, once his contract's up, if all this young talent pans out, he's probably on this way out. So I think he's got to make the most of this short amount of time as well. I mean, if that window's open, he's got to perform to help the team get there because we don't know how long it's going to be.
See what his contract exactly looks like here. So they've got him on a 3-year deal here. It was a 2-year extension. Mm-hmm. So he's under contract through 2026. He's 29 years old. In 2026, he's 29. So for 24, his cap hits 3.9. In 25, it's 6.8. In 26, it's 7.1. Now, it's worth mentioning in 25, that's 6.8. The dead cap attached is 4.3. So you could free up roughly $2 million and eat 4.3 in dead cap if you decide to move on. In 2026, it's a $7.1 million cap hit with only 2.1 in dead cap. So you could free up $5 million there. So they definitely protected themselves in that regard. You could free up money next year and free up a good chunk the final year of the contract. But I love him as a kick returner and as a good floor in that slot position. We talked about that all offseason. The fact that you got Bullard that can play slot kind of seems like there's a decent chance that could work out that way. Ron Sanville says Nixon will probably start the year in nickel, but his leash may get pretty short with Bullard pushing him. Absolutely. Especially when he gets banged up. Players are going to get banged up. If he gets banged up and goes out for a couple series and Bullard just jumps off the screen, might not get that job back, man. So let's see here. Jimmy Haffa says, I was watching his college tape. He can hit. He talked about Evan Williams earlier, I believe. Yeah, Evan Williams, that was definitely his strong point on the college tape, was just his ability to – I mean, he did. He could really bring the thump for sure.
Hey, going back to Bakhtiari, Jim, and then I think Prince said it too. They said if Bakhtiari could play, he'd probably already be in someone else's training camp. So the fact that he's not around probably means that he's not up to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point. It is, but also from another team standpoint, how much are you willing to pay him? You know, everybody said the Jets, right? The Jets. But they went out and signed. Who was it? Tyron Smith. Am I thinking right? Who was it they signed from Dallas?
Yeah.
You remember? I think
I think that sounds right.
So they've already got their left tackle spot filled. So where else would he play? You know, who's calling? Who's calling for a 30-plus-year-old left tackle with bad knees? You know, but I understand what you're saying. If he was ready to go, probably have a couple teams lined up. It's that important of a position. It's a great point there.
Or it's one of those where he pulls like the OBJ, just waits it out, gets signed postseason, ready to play 2 games and call it a day. That could be a move as well.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Anything else, fellas? I think we hit everything on the list here. We hit the Watson injury, obviously. We got the update on it. So he's good to go. Oh, here, this was pretty cool. Wes Hockwitz. Love gets Walker to declare with the hard count. Checks. Walker blitz, and Love hits Watson for a nice game and a inseam as the hot read. You guys remember on Chalk Talk last year, first half of the season, a couple of different times, they brung a backside bandit on a blitz, and the guy in the slot, you could tell that was going to be the free runner. The guy in the slot didn't even look at Love, just ran his route, didn't go hot at all. Sounds like this team is really starting to gel, especially offensively. So little things like that is the little team in camp that you can go, okay, those are the things you're looking for. And I immediately think of the Dallas Cowboys game, right? And how he did that in the Dallas game, got them to tip their hand with the blitz, showed zero, seen the stack on the left, completely changed the protection, I think they said he kept the play on, took the tight end to block, and then ends up hitting Wicks on that little shake seam route. So pretty cool.
And back to that hard count one, I think it was 3 guys with 3 things. They were talking about, or I've heard it somewhere. He got him to declare, right? Then had a little bit more time on the play clock, got him to declare again so that he knew that blitz was actually coming. Then he was, all right, we're in business. Let's let it roll. We didn't have enough blockers, get it out hot, and it's game time. But Jordan Love is the man. I'm happy he's had that time to learn and just show up for this team, right? And he just carries himself a leader.
Yeah. Someone else who's stepping up, I'm telling you, man. You guys know going in the offseason, I wasn't low on Romeo Doubs, but he wasn't my guy like, hey, this is the guy who's going to take the next step. It seems like he's got the best shot of being wide receiver 1. Look at my man here. And he has dominated this camp too, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so cool to see how he's become that fan favorite. And I think he scored another touchdown today. I ran out of space and couldn't get everything into the updates, but he caught another red zone touchdown.
Yeah,
right.
He did.
So Romeo Doubs, probably the one that you want to look out for. And what's crazy is when we looked at the Grok prediction for wide receiver statistics this year, he had, what was he, like the third? He was third, right, in yards, if I remember correctly. So might be somebody, if you can get a good deal on him in fantasy, might be a good idea to go that route. So
look at Clayton making fantasy recommendations here.
I have no clue how that stuff works, but I do know that the key to winning your league, from what I've been told by the experts, is you got to hit on those late rounders. That's the key to winning your league. You got to. So with Doubs, man, if you can land it, what's he usually going? Do you know, Jacob? What do you think would be his average draft position? Are you keeping up at all this year or no?
Oh yeah, totally. I did a draft this morning. He's down past the 10th round. It depends on where people are drafting him, but he's easily available in the 10th through 15th rounds. I mean, Wicks and Watson are going in front of him in most leagues. So is Jaden Reed. So
do you think, am I off base there saying that might be a good sleeper pick there?
It's a great pick. The thing is that's my strategy, is that I've been going with most of my drafts. I'm in like 60 already, best ball leagues pretty much. And what I typically will do is at the end of those, when people are still trying to find, like in the 10 rounds plus, when they're trying to find decent, wide receiver 2s or 3s, you could pick any one of Green Bay's wide receivers, and depending on the week, they're going to be a wide receiver 1, which is kind of cool. It's awesome. It's really crazy, but it makes people in the fantasy football community want to pull their hair out because they don't know where to pull the trigger on these guys. But it's for people that are good at kind of laying back and not jumping the gun. It's really good production at the back end of the drafts.
Where's Jordan going right now?
He's rising up. He's going around the same areas around CJ Stroud is.
Rise to the top, oh yeah.
He's probably around 10 to 15th quarterback being taken in.
Got it. All right. Anything else? We good?
Yeah, we have.
Like on this or for the whole show?
What's that?
Like on just this topic or for the whole show?
For the whole show.
You got anything, Carly?
I'm tired, boss.
All I'm saying, we have Packers kickoff 2 days, 19 hours, 32 minutes.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh.
Sorry, Jacob. Is this better?
Giggity. That'll work.
There you go. All right, let's get out of here.
Wait. Can I make the announcement of the PTA Patreon League?
Ooh, let's hear it.
So speaking of fantasy, guys, we are going to have a Packer Fan Total Access Patreon Superflex League. It's going to be 14 teams, well, 13 because I'm going to be in it. I'm the commissioner for it. It's going to be $20 buy-in, and the first 3 places will win money. And we're going to open it up to the Patreon subscribers first, I think, and give them, 5 days a week or something to fill it up. And then if it doesn't fill up, we will open it up to everybody else. Kind of first to pay and register and pay gets in.
Awesome. So yeah, that's going to be great. So how many teams again? 15? Is that what you said?
14.
14. All right.
And Carly, did you say it was a super flex?
Yeah.
Explain real quick what that means to somebody that maybe wouldn't know that.
Yes, thank you.
Like
so watch, and actually, I'm sure I'll make a mistake, and Jacob's going to have to correct me here on it because I'm still learning exactly the lingo. So it's going to be basically, instead of just being a static league where all of your slots are one position, you have multiple slots that multiple roster spots that can be various positions. So, for example, in this one, you can have 2 quarterbacks. And then there are a few other spots where it could be like a tight end, a wide receiver, or a running back, and you get to move those every game, who's in those spots, to try and get more points. So it's a lot of flexibility, and it's really fun. I think it's a lot of fun because you actually have to move people around in between games to try and maximize your points, and it has some strategy as opposed to just being the luck of the draft.
Are you doing a defensive player?
Yes.
You are. That's a big one. You got to tell them that too.
2 defensive players and defense and kicker.
It's a pretty extensive league, guys. Like when we told Carly that she was going to be in this one last year, it was the first time she ever played fantasy football, and it was a 14-team super flex with 2 IDPs, which are defensive players. And she was like, what? And now the progression from where she started a year from now, it's pretty awesome. So I'm telling you guys, it's going to be fun. It's a lot more strategy than you think because you need to figure out where you're going to draft your 2 quarterbacks. You got to figure out where you're going to pepper in your defensive players. It is really fun. It really is. It's a lot.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So,
man, you can get boat race. You don't wake up with you.
No, it is super fun, so don't be intimidated if it is your first time playing fantasy, but you want to learn all about it. It's good because I don't feel intimidated over joining any other fantasy league now, although except for best ball, I still have no idea what the crap that means. But so I just think it's a good time. So if you're interested in it and want to spend some time at it, it's a good one to do. So,
hey, Emilio, do me a favor, scan that QR code. Let's see if it's actually still working. If you guys would, if you're interested in joining the Patreon group and having an opportunity to enter that fantasy league, just scan the QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Okay. And what we'll do, we'll get organized here with Carly. Like I said, it's going to be 14 teams. So I imagine what we'll do is everyone who's interested, we'll put them on the wheel, spin it. The 14 that are landed, that'll be your top picks, you think?
I think we talked about just putting it in the Patreon, and then as like first come, first serve. You pay, you register, and you pay, you get in.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
do
yep.
it that way. Yeah.
And when you say pay, what do you
think
mean?
it's
What do you mean by that, Carly? Explain to them.
So the entry fee for just playing is $20, and for the season and the first two, I'm basically, Jacob, it's basically a copy of the one that I did last year with you guys, because it was simpler to do it that way. And you get, so the first 3 spots will actually win money back. The top 3 people that place 1, 2, and 3. And then everybody else is just, you're basically paying to play for the season.
Nice. I like it. If I don't want to knock anyone out of the chance of being in the league, but if for some reason we came up 1 or 2 teams short, I might jump in there with one, pay the entry fee, and then find a listener to be my GM. I think that'd be fun. So
hey, that'd be really fun.
Okay.
That's a good way to do it.
And it's on Yahoo. It's on Yahoo Fantasy Sports. So if you don't have Yahoo, make a Yahoo account. That'll just make it faster. And then M. Smitty said, when are we posting for sign up? Clayton, when do you want to post it on? Do you want to do noon tomorrow, post it on the Patreon? Would you be available, or do you want to do it a different time?
I say right now, if you're in the Patreon group already, go ahead and just post in there and say, hey, I want to be in the league. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, because I don't think I'm active on the Patreon yet, because I got a new debit card and so it kicked me out. But how about let's do like I don't know, let's do 9 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. I should have it all ironed out by then.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right.
So yeah,
9 a.m. we'll post in the Patreon group. It's the URL, the invite link, and you go to that and you get to.
Got it. I see what you're saying. Okay, cool. So
get in there if you want a shot at the fantasy, or if you want a shot at any of the giveaways, right? Because we got
absolutely.
Take Your Eye Off the Ball coming up Saturday.
Yeah. Post-game show Saturday, immediately following the Browns preseason game. We are going to put everyone's name who is in one of the 3 tiers on Patreon on the pinky wheel, spin it. Whoever it lands on, we're going to give a copy of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0. And then also, if you're a member of the Patreon group, you'll have an opportunity to join the fantasy league like we just talked about. So we're going to continue to add things to that too. Like when we're in town for the draft, we'll probably do something special for the Patreon members as well. Maybe a little meet and greet type thing, hang out, that type of thing. So we'll figure all that out as we go. But there you go. Dennis Shook said, just telling you right now, fantasy, the PTA fantasy league is rigged. All right.
And too old for this. Wonders if the loser gets an Amari Rogers jersey.
Oh, that would be great if it was something like. And you have
hey,
to.
I'll donate the DeGuara jersey. You guys can
still working on
that. Hey, loser, the lowest point gets the loser, last place gets the DeGuara jersey. That's great.
Y'all are out of control. All right, Emilio, you got anything else?
Nothing. 2 days.
All this fantasy talk, man.
That QR code does not work. It went back to the website. I think it went to so we'll have to.
All right, so we need to figure that
out.
Yeah, you'll have to help me with that. All right. I'm willing to pay. I just don't know who to pay. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all. We will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, for another PTA Live. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.